Devy Degens, welcome back. I am SC Romero. That's my guy Tom Hardy. We are your Devy Scouts. We are here with another live episode to talk about this week. It's about the breakouts and the ACC. All that and more on the Devy Degens right after the intro.
Breaking down the hate, man, we call it like we see it. Finding all the gems while the rest just sleeping. Freshmen to the league, we ahead of the curve. Picking out the next star, put them on the reserve. From the big time schools to the deep cut fines. Gotta know who's next when it's draft day time. Stock rising, playmaking, watch them ball out. Devy Degens, yeah, no doubt. Yo, it's time to talk the future Devy style. Prospects rising, diamonds shining. Only the real ones grinding. Welcome to the Devy Degens, let's go. Let's go!
Tabby, what's going on, my guy?
Man, not a whole lot. Just got a quick quick housekeeping note. Next week I will not be on the show. I am headed on vacation tomorrow. SC does have a replacement lined up for me in my absence, though.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you giving the fans knowledge of that. We do have a special guest coming. I'm not going to spoil the beans there yet. But the special guest is coming on, and we're actually going to do a 3-round Devy mock draft. So definitely stay in. I know me and Tommy did a 2026, 2027, 2028 rookie first-round mock draft. So my special guest coming on next week is going to help me do a Devy overall 3-round mock draft. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be exciting. Who knows? Maybe all our first rounds just get combined into one draft. But, it's going to be fun. I'm excited to do that show. I hope you enjoy your vacation. Hey, what Tommy's doing, everyone needs to do it. Get away, step out, go. I think you're going to the coast, if I'm not mistaken.
Headed over to Myrtle Beach for the week. We
there you go.
We kind of alternate in between there, Destin, and Panama City every year. So we're going to Myrtle Beach this year.
Beautiful. Well, enjoy that vacation, man. Well deserved, much needed. Go enjoy it. Have some time with the family. Enjoy some time in the sun. Put your feet in the sand and don't get eaten by sharks. I don't know if sharks are out there, but we'll be talking about some sharks in college today.
I really don't. I don't get into the ocean a whole lot. So
there you go. I've seen the Meg. I'm good. I don't need to do
right.
I do. I'm going to start out the show a little bit different here today. We're going to be talking about the ACC. Okay, that's going to be the general thought on the show. I have a Devy PSA that I want to talk about. At Ron Stewart, this is directed to you, my guy. You said on X, Devy guys are the biggest fake demons on here. I've never had more leagues fold or teams orphaned from that section of the community. They get high on finding pet players in high school and can't keep up with their rigors of format like C2C. Just what I've seen personally. Hey, my guy, you're entitled to all your personal opinions. I'm not attacking your personal opinion. You're entitled to that. But that's just a fantasy community as far as leagues folded. I have more Dynasty leagues that people fold left and right, especially when you talk about free leagues, fold left and right. My Devy ones, I have more people excited because they're actually scouting out the next top athletes. They're saying, hey, I can get this athlete that I can't get in my dynasty because guess what? I'm winning, and he's a first-round prospect, but he's been on my team. So maybe this is just me. Maybe either the commissioners are bad or there's this lack of engagement in the league because in my knowledge, a lot of people that fold are folding because of lack of engagement within the league, or they're just unhappy. And guess what? Things happen. You're able to fold your leagues. That's the beauty of it. Fold your leagues if you want. Life happens. Things come at you fast. Maybe you have a newborn, maybe medical expenses, maybe whatever it is. Fold your league. Do what you do. But to shout out Devy, biggest fake demons, my guy, I need you to step to the side because that's not how it is. We take our work in the Devy community very serious. As fact that what we're doing to get people ready for the next step, to get people ready for the next big prospects to draft. Guess what? People weren't talking about Kevin Concepcion. We have a guy, Andy Pham was. People weren't talking about Cam Ward. Our guy, Tom Harvey was. So, yeah, we're wrong on some takes. Guess what? Everyone is in the Dynasty community, too. Some people had Jalen Reagor ahead of Justin Jefferson because he got drafted higher. But that doesn't mean that what we're doing is incorrect or that the Devy community is fake demons. So I need you to step to the side and realize that it's not a Devy thing. It's just a fantasy football thing. And again, if it's happening in your Devy leagues, talk to the commissioner, or guess what? Do better engagement in that league because that's what's happening. I had to get that off my chest. I saw that tweet.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because if you didn't bring it up, I was going to. You know, it's not just Devy. It's like you said, it's every format.
Right.
It's not just Devy. It's not just C2C. It's Dynasty. It's redraft.
And it's not just football. It's every fantasy.
Yeah, it's every fantasy league out there. It's every sport. Fantasy baseball, basketball, football, hockey, doesn't matter. It's everyone. So to call it an individual niche, as you would call it, it's just not accurate. And yeah, Debbie's not for everybody. That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, don't play it.
Right.
And I kind of had a comment about that earlier. Also, was that a lot of times it's guys who join a league, they don't really know what they're playing, they don't understand the format, or two, they're just kind of tourists just stopping by saying, hey, I'm going to try this out.
Right.
I don't like it. I'm bouncing.
That's fine.
Three, it's guys who are experienced players who somehow get involved with beginner leagues because they've been asked to join, and the level of that league isn't quite where they want it to be.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not on their level. It's not fun for them.
Right.
That's the same with any format, though.
100%. And that's what I mean about the engagement in the league, right? The competition in the leagues doesn't matter. If you have, even in dynasty formats, if you have one team that is just trading away their star players and getting crapshoots, I'm not a fan of veto and trades. I know some teams do, some leagues do, but if you have one guy that's trading away a bunch and just his team is tanking and it's really ruining the integrity, the competition of the league, you will have some fallout because people are like, dude, there's this guy that has nothing. So if he ends up leaving, we're just screwed. And that's the hardest thing, finding orphans for a team that really just threw it away. But again, that's why maybe you have a compensation pick. That's why maybe you do some work. Or
that's dynasty leagues in general.
Right.
That's dynasty leagues in general. I mean, that's why a lot of the leagues require you that if you're going to trade away future picks, you have to pay for those years.
Right. 100%. That's what I do. At least first round, I do my first rounds. You have to trade. If you trade them, you have to pay for that league year. Second, third, it's okay, but first round, I do it.
And then the whole thing with people also commenting on it, saying you have guys that are out there scouting high schoolers and this, that, and the other. It's like,
what does 247 do? What does on 3 do?
I mean,
why is there a huddle?
Yeah, I mean, we're not professional scouts. We don't claim to be.
Right.
But I mean, this is the format we're playing here, right?
Right.
So if we're going to play this format, then we're going to study what we got to study,
right,
to be able to be more informed about what we're playing.
And honestly, I would be shocked if Sean McVay, if just thinking of Andy Reid, if at no point in their coaching career, even at professional level, they're not looking at some form of high school athletes.
Right.
You're telling me they don't know who Bryce Underwood is?
Well, yeah. And even that is kind of stepping out onto a different branch. Mm-hmm. But it's like people don't play Dynasty because they don't like it.
Right.
People don't play redraft because they don't like it.
Right.
People have their certain formats that they like to play. People like to play CFF. People like to play C2C.
Right.
Some people, and then there's people that are strictly Devy that don't want to play the CFF portion, so they don't play C2C. They just strictly play Devy, which is fine. Play what you're comfortable playing. Play what you want to play. But there's no point in going to a different level to say, oh, it's strictly Devy guys who are ruining the space. No, it's not. It's every format.
Right. And again, I have some of these where you can't draft high school athletes, which is fair. I have some where we were taking 2027 prospects. And again, those you just drop them. It's not I'm leaving the league if they don't hit. I'm just like, all right, well, it didn't happen, so you drop them out, right?
Right.
The downfall is your waiver wire is not as deep because you have a lot of players you're already picking. Your rookie drafts aren't crazy because you already have it. You're looking for your Devy drafts. But we got off topic a little bit there. I just want we just want to say that, like, Man, you're entitled to your opinion, but to say Devy guys are the biggest fake demons on here, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think you are my guy, and I think you need to adjust your leagues or the way you're playing them, or maybe Devy's just not for you. That's really what it sounded like. Is Devy's just not for you?
Yeah.
So hey, go play Dynasty. Nothing wrong
And,
with that.
and it's not for everybody, and it doesn't have to
Exactly.
be.
Exactly.
But we're
I'm
Devy
not a fan
guys,
of seafood. Some people love seafood.
right? We're Devy guys. We're gonna stand up for the format. So
Exactly. So shout out all our Devy Degens. Y'all are here to rock with us. Y'all are here to play Devy leagues, and that's why we're here for y'all to give y'all our insight on some Devy prospects. And today we're focusing on the ACC. What we're doing over these next 4 or 5 weeks is we're gonna go conference by conference, giving y'all some breakout ideas. But we're actually gonna start the show with the this or that. And I think Tommy, you got our first this or that where we're talking only ACC players. So who do you got?
right, yeah, I'm gonna throw out a this or that. Kind of two very similar types of players here. Pittsburgh running back Desmond Reed and Louisville running back Isaac Brown. Both very similar size running backs.
Mhm.
Who would you rather have amongst those two?
So we're talking about Devy. It's funny that you said Reed because I was gonna do the first guy I have here with Desmond Reed, but I saw you did it, so I was like, all right, I want to do Desmond Reed. Desmond Reed, that's great. I love what he's doing out there in Pittsburgh. I think him and Eli Bolster are gonna be fantastic. But you can't knock out what Isaac Brown did as a freshman, and not only that with Louisville, there was 2 other freshmen that were involved as well, and Isaac Brown kind of stood up above them all. So what he did as a true freshman, I like his trajectory a little bit better. Desert Reed, we had to wait a little bit as far as what Isaac Brown did as a true freshman, over 1,000 yards, looked phenomenal. So as far as Devy wise, I think I'm gonna take the shot on Isaac Brown because it seems like out the gate he has that breakout potential already, or he already did break out, and now it's like, okay, let's see if he can keep it up. So I'll go ahead and take Isaac Brown here over Desmond Reed.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Desmond Reed is a very specialized type of player. He's great receiver out of the backfield. I think Isaac Brown's a much better runner. Very similar size guys, though. I do expect Isaac Brown to maybe put on a little bit more weight moving forward. So that's another reason why I'm going to take Isaac Brown.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I think they're both phenomenal, but I think Isaac Brown will actually be the sure thing. And if he ends up transferring out of Louisville, that might be special for him. I'm going to keep it with the running backs, though. I'm actually going with Wake Forest and Georgia Tech, Deming Claiborne or Jamal Haynes. Who do you take?
I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to go Damon Claiborne.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are going to be on Jamal Haynes here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Damon Claiborne has a little bit more pop to him, maybe even a little bit more juice. He's also a little bit bigger. Jamal Haynes, I think, is like 5'9", 190.
Yeah, he's
whereas Claiborne's closer to 6 foot and about 200 or so.
Yeah.
So I think he is much more pro ready as far as his build. And being what he's done at Wake Forest, being able to run the way he has in a non-traditional type of offense, that playing under Dave Clawson the way he did, I think Claiborne has a little bit more juice to him. Jamal Haynes really plays in that run heavy offense. And I kind of think he may, I think they're kind of running him into the ground a little bit along with Haynes King.
Yeah. If we're talking with Devy prospects, like who you want, you're right on the money with Damon Claiborne. Jamal Haynes, I think, is a special talent. But yeah, it is a run heavy offense. I think he has a lot more elusiveness than Damon Claiborne. I think he has a little bit more speed than Damon Claiborne. But because of the trajectory and what he's going, I think I might take the shot later on Damon Claiborne. Both these guys, later rounds, I would definitely take them. But I would go with Damon Claiborne because of the build. He has more of that prototypical size, where Jamal Haynes, he might be more of your satellite type of back, and you would want the right coach to really use him like that. He couldn't go to to the Texans, with Singletary like that and be effective. So I would take Damon Claiborne because I think he could fit into multiple different avenues as far as running games.
And when I say I think Claiborne has a little bit more juice than what Jamal Haynes has, I mean he has a little bit more fuel in the tank, a little bit more tread on the tires there.
Fair. No, I agree. I like that. And then we're gonna go into some wide receivers this or that. Tommy, who do you got with our wide receivers?
I'm gonna go with the trio over at Clemson. TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco, or Antonio Williams. Who would you rather have of those three?
This was a tough one because I'm taking Wesco or Moore over Antonio Williams. The reason is because, again, we talked about freshmen with Isaac Brown. Both Moore and Wesco came out and showed out as true freshmen with Antonio Williams. Antonio Williams led the way, but these guys said, hey, don't forget about us. We're here. And when you're gone, we're here that next year as well. I'm going to take Wesco. I'm a Wesco guy. I think Wesco's a little bit more effective in what he can do. I think this is the year that Wesco can pop and actually make an impact to that next level as well. I think he's just a little bit more aggressive when it comes to his route running, a little bit more fine-tuned than what TJ Moore is in his route running. So I'm going to go ahead and take Wesco as far as the Devy prospect here.
I'm going to go with TJ Moore here, but let's not forget it. Antonio Williams was outstanding as a freshman too. He had a young breakout age.
Sure.
So he just kind of had some injuries over the last couple of years, but I think he's going to have a great year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think he's going to solidify himself as one of the top wide receivers in this upcoming draft. But I'm going to go TJ Moore here. He's got great size. He's very, very smooth. Our boy Andy Pham actually had the ability to record some of his workouts out in Utah. And go check that out. Matter of fact, I think he's posted a video on X about it. But TJ Moore looks outstanding.
Yeah, make sure you check out Andy Pham. He's doing great things with the Beehive report out there in Utah. You're talking about high school prospects. He's the one scouting out of Utah and getting some great guys on there. So he's doing a great thing there with them. I believe he's one of their lead scouts, actually. Andy_Pham, I do believe is his next handle. Go check him out. I think all of them will be great. Antonio Williams, I like how he said he could solidify himself as a top prospect or top wide receiver. Yeah, he could definitely be top 5. I mean, we're both on Clay Klubnik this year. A big reason is because these 3 guys that you just mentioned, right? Moore, Wesco, and Williams there. I'm going to go with 2 other receivers here. Speaking about high school prospects, right, as we were earlier, Noah Rogers out of NC State or the freshman John Anthony Hall out of Stanford. Who you got?
You know, this one's tough because I was high on Rogers coming into when he was a freshman at
Ohio State.
Going to Ohio State. He's since transferred to NC State, which I thought was a great move for him. I think he's got really good size, 6'2", about 200 pounds. John Anthony Hall, you're just not going to see a whole lot of production, I don't think, just because, I mean, for one, he's at Stanford and you're just not going to see a whole lot there.
For sure.
I know a lot of people, will probably point to like Emmett Mosley or whatever there, but I mean, they're probably really only going to be able to produce one guy every so often. So is that going to be Mosley or is that going to be John Anthony Hall moving forward? Whereas at NC State, Noah Rogers is probably going to be the guy this year. So,
100%.
I mean, I'm probably looking at Rogers, especially with him being draft eligible.
I think Rogers. Sure, I do like what we see in John Anthony Hall. I think he has the talent level to be their top threat, especially because I don't really see a big threat as far as them.
He's also pretty slight. He's about 175.
Yeah, I mean, in college that's okay, right? I don't feel as far as pro process that's needed, that's fine. But yeah, we're talking about Devy prospects being who we want the next level. I think Noah Rogers. I mean, you hit it. He was at a wide receiver U, right? He was there at Ohio State. He ended up transferring out. It was smart for him to do that because there was a lot of depth, and now he has opportunity to showcase his breakout opportunity here at NC State. So I'll take Noah Rogers just because we see it a little bit more. Again, I like what I'm seeing in John Anthony Hall, but we definitely need to see him step on the field. But again, sometimes those freshmen, that hype comes out, and then it's like, boom, here you go. So I think John Anthony Hall is a player you should watch, but I would take Noah Rogers here when it comes to that. Now, speaking of breakouts, that's what the Devy community is all about, is the breakout candidates. And actually, on Player Profile now, if you spend $5, you can find out who the next breakout person is, and we're going to give you a little promo so you know exactly what we're talking about here.
Oh, the Breakout Finder is live. That's right. A lot of breakout models out there, but we started it all. The best and brightest minds coming up with the definitive breakout probabilities for running backs, wide receivers in this rookie class. It's $5 to download the wide receiver breakouts, the running back breakouts, but also proprietary stats available only on the Breakout Finder, including dynamic score for wide receivers, teammate score, level of competition. You can access the full stat database, plus many advanced metrics from Player Profiler, all there, right there on your phone, in the App Store, on Google Play, and that 2025 class is live.
There you go. That 2025 class is live. So if you haven't done your rookie drafts yet, I know there's a lot of Degens in here that are already through 7 rookie drafts, or whatever it may be, right? But if you haven't done one, go check that out. Only $5. Find out who the next breakout candidate is for the 2025 class. But then listen to your Devy Degens as we're giving you the breakout candidates for this next season in college football. Speaking of that, the juice and potatoes, or meat and potatoes, juice and potatoes, the gin and juice and the meat and potatoes of today's show is our breakout candidates here for the ACC. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you our top 3 QBs, top 3 running backs, and top 3 wide receivers, and then we're gonna give you some breakout candidates. We're also gonna bring out tight ends and some IDP. We're not giving you other ranks quite yet on those, but we'll give you some guys that we have our eye on that could potentially break out for this. Tommy, let's start with our position rankings. Who are your top 3 in the ACC right now?
Top 3 quarterbacks. I'm going to go with Cade Klubnik at Clemson. I think that's obvious. My next guy's Carson Beck at Miami. He's since transferred out of Georgia down to Miami, and whether you like it or not, the NFL sees a lot in him, so he's going to be a pretty high draft pick. And then Kevin Jennings out of SMU is my third guy. He's got good size. He's got good mobility, obviously, and he seems to see the field pretty well. I know his playoff game didn't go very well, but nobody really looked good against Penn State, honestly.
Yeah, Penn State dominated all they needed to this past season. So they were just great. I mean, you had Abdul Caller on that side. Offenses weren't doing much on them. I mean, Jency, I know people were high on him. Jency didn't look great against Penn State. He had his runs, but he still struggled. So great top 3. My top 3, we agree on Cade Klubnik. That's our top guy here is Cade Klubnik here. Again, I think this is possibly a Heisman type of season this year for him. I had as a breakout as far as 50 touchdowns this year, possibly leading Clemson to ACC, maybe even the national championship. And it goes back to our 3 wide receivers we talked about with Cade Klubnik there, and a running back we'll talk about here a little later. But then my second guy, it's not Beck. Beck's actually my QB3 in the ACC. My second guy is Eli Holston out of Pittsburgh. I absolutely love Eli Holston. He was a prospect that was at Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Great size, fantastic arm, has the mobility. And Beck, just what you said, I mean, NFL's high on him. I think he transferred out because he couldn't stay at Georgia again and not win the Natty. Where if he goes out and balls out at Miami and he doesn't win the Natty, it doesn't look different, right? It's like, okay, you did it. Cam Ward didn't do it, but he looked great, and he's number 1 overall pick. Do I think that could be that number 1 overall pick? No, but I think he could definitely be a first-round type of quarterback just based on what NFL looks at as well. But he would be my number 3, and actually QB4, just because you said his name, is Kevin Jennings at SMU for me as well. But with our breakout candidates, I'm going to start first because I mentioned this guy already. Pittsburgh, Eli Holston. He is my breakout candidate for SEC or ACC, excuse me. Just over 2,000 yards last season. He's going to slaughter that this year. He's a little bit more comfortable. That was his first year because he was a redshirt. First year at the helm in Pittsburgh. When people think of Pittsburgh, they're thinking of the guy that slid and didn't slide and made a guy miss and ran for the touchdown, and Kenny Pickett, who was picked 19, I think, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Didn't do what's in the NFL. Tiny hands. It's okay. Eli Holston is not that. He's not as mobile as Kenny Pickett. I don't want that. He is mobile, though. He has a better arm. He has better accuracy. He has better confidence. He stands in the pocket and delivers a dime. He can get ran through by the edge rushers, and he is going to stand there and deliver. I love everything I see about Eli Holston. I think he is going to be one of the next better quarterbacks that we're going to be looking at saying, damn, I should have got this guy. Eli Holston going to do some big things at Pittsburgh, so don't sleep on him just because he's at Pittsburgh, not one of your top ACC teams of your Miami or Clemson. He's going to do some great things. I'm stoked on everywhere I have him in.
Yeah, I do like Eli Holstein. I think he's going to have to kind of get out of his head for how he finished last season. Because they started off 5-0 and then ended up like 6-7 or something like that after the bowl game. It wasn't a good finish, and a lot of that was because he kind of went through a little bit of an injury problem and then came back, and he may have came back too early. But yeah, he looked good that first half of the year. Another guy that my breakout guy that's going to have to kind of fight off some injury problems from last year also is a North Carolina transfer, Gio Lopez, transferred from South Alabama. He's right at about 6 foot tall, 220 pounds, a very mobile quarterback, nice strong arm. He's built solid. I think Baker Mayfield whenever I see this guy. Baker, Baker was he was a very mobile guy when he was at Oklahoma. He, another guy who had a really big arm, and Gio Lopez being right there with Bill Belichick. He's got the NFL connections.
I forgot Belichick's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I mean, I think Gio Lopez is prime for a big year there.
There's was it last week's? I think it was last week. We were in 2028. You were talking about Cam Newton 2.0. He's not as tall as Cam, but he's 6'2", 220. There was a game against Eastern Michigan where Gio Lopez stood confidently in the pocket and he just got drilled. Like someone came and knocked the wind out of him, it looked like. And he delivered a bomb down the field. I forget who the wide receiver was, but just a straight dart down the field for the touchdown in that game. This kid is not afraid to draw the contact. You brought up Belichick. I completely forgot about that. Bill Belichick there now too. He's definitely going to use the inside. At least get him in the mentality. Like what I love about Bill Belichick is I don't know if he's the best coach to finesse your talent wise. Like I don't know if he's the best to do all that kind of stuff. But I think he's one of the better coaches when it gets to get your mindset right. Like we talk about Brady and what he did, 6th round pick. Guess what? Belichick wasn't taking star wide receivers in the first round either. He was taking these guys later, and they were becoming all pros with him because he got the mindset right.
Yeah, dudes like Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, and exactly.
But
yeah, I mean that toughness you were talking about again just reminds me of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I don't think you have a much tougher quarterback than that.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. I think Gio Lopez is star-studded for a breakout year, especially because he's stepping up to where he's at now as far as the competition and just being one of the guys that is mobile as well. He can escape the pocket, but his arm again, similar to what I think in Holston, the way he could just stand there with you see some quarterbacks if you watch they get hit, they get shaken up. I see the guys coming here. I'm not phasing. I am in my zone. I see my guy getting open. I'm waiting 2 more seconds, even though I know this guy's coming straight at me, and I'm going to deliver. And that's exactly what he did. And he took the hit, and he balled out. So absolutely love that pick. That was a great pick there. So now let's move on to our running backs here, though. Let's start with our top 3 running backs here. Who do you have as your top 3?
And a lot of these guys are going to be fairly unknown just because the ACC doesn't have that type of running back pedigree. But I'm going to go. My number 1 running back is Mark Fletcher out of Miami. My number 2 and 3 are actually incoming freshmen: Usman Kroma out of Florida State and Gideon Davidson for Clemson.
Okay, love it. Usman's great. I mean, we've talked to him about him a lot already. He has great size. He's going to be master. Cam Davis is still at Florida State, if I'm not mistaken, though, right?
Yep.
So that'll be a nice punch. I don't know how much Usman will get. I know Cam Davis didn't look so great last year. So Usman definitely has opportunity to go out there, be one of their top guys there as well.
They also have Roydell Williams, who's been in college for about 12 years now. So
yeah, so he'll get his looks. Roydell's kind of what I think of Montreal Johnson. Like it was like he's there, but they should have gave the ball to Jaden Ball a lot more. These similar situations where Roydell's there, he's nice. But if it's not Cam Davis or Usman getting the rock, then I think Florida State's messing up a little bit.
And also, let's not forget that the kid from Indiana that transferred down there last year, Jalen Lucas.
Jalen Lucas too, little speed there, right? And that's where he could take over for Usman as well. Because Usman, not really the speedster, he's just your boy, your big guy kind of draw concept. I absolutely love the pick because I think Usman can be a great prospect as we grow, just because his size right now is a true freshman there. My top 3 running backs in the ACC, you have Mark Fletcher. I have him at 2. I'm actually going with the other running back in Jordan Lyle, just because Jordan Lyle looked great as a freshman. Mark Fletcher, I think, will be the RB1 for the team this year, but I think Jordan Lyle may end up being developed as the better running back when it's all said and done out of him. Just a little bit more juice to his game, a little bit more speed. Similar to Usman, Mark Fletcher is going to draw that contact. He does draw that speed as well, but Lyle's more of the explosiveness. So I think that's going to entice people to be more into him because we seem to navigate towards the guys that have a little bit more speed, a little bit more juke to their step to make those kind of moves. And my 3rd, we talked about him earlier, is Isaac Brown out of Louisville. Again, what he did as a true freshman out of Louisville with 2 other freshmen seeing the field like him as well, he still came out and balled out. He said, hey, this is my job and I'm here to take it. So I think we can't knock his game there, and I think he can do some great things. And you mentioned the ACC. I mean, they have a lot of good talent there at running backs. It's not looked at as much. We talked about 4 of them already earlier, mentioning Isaac Brown as well. So absolutely love it. ACC, I mean, low key has a really good running back room all around. And some guys that can really surprise them, because I think if they get the opportunity to showcase it, it can actually drive up some drive stock. Unfortunately, Devy Martinez.
Kind of a hot take for you here. I actually have Duke Watson ahead of Isaac Brown in my Devy rankings.
Duke Watson, okay.
The other running back there, the other running back there at Louisville. What scares me off about Isaac Brown is, again, kind of what I mentioned earlier. It's the size. He's going to have to put on another 10, 15 pounds in order for me to really be able to feel comfortable with him being a NFL a bigger NFL prospect.
Fair. I like that. And again, with 3 freshmen, it was 3. I'm pretty sure they all stayed there too. I don't think any of them transferred. So I mean, it could be he just took the reins of what he had last year, and now this year these guys end up stepping up as well. So that's the beauty about college football. One year you're hot, next year you're not. So you're definitely going to see what happens. But let's talk about our breakouts. Go ahead. I'll let you start the breakout for the running back right now.
Yeah, my breakout, mainly just because he's going to have the opportunity. It's going to be Gideon Davidson. We kind of spoke about Croma maybe not getting all the opportunity there at Florida State. I think Gideon Davidson's going to be the guy there at Clemson from day one. I think he gets the. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries. I see him as a 1,200-yard back his freshman year.
Okay. To his game, if we want to do comps, just think of Clemson comps. I really saw a lot of like Will Shipley in his game, like just someone that could be a pass catching back, but also a straight down the field runner, has some speed, has elusiveness and everything. As you mentioned, he's gonna get the rock, and you're gonna have a team. It's gonna be a pass heavy team. They're gonna let Klubnik, really air it out. But because Gideon has that to his game and the pass catching ability, he's gonna be part of that as well. It's not gonna be he's just a running, which is what Phil Maffa really was for them last year, where it was like he's just the running back. He's not really the pass catching as Will Shipley was. So
Davidson kind of goes back to that kind of Will Shipley, Travis Etienne, kind of mold there. So we're going to see a lot more swing passes, a lot more wheel routes, stuff like that to him also.
Oh, yeah. I'm stoked to see what he could do there. I think he could do some great things for him. And he's a true freshman. If he goes out there and rocks, he may end up having the Isaac Brown type of season in Clemson, which will be a lot, especially if they go to that ACC championship. His name's going to be everywhere. I said this guy was my number 2, but I think this is the breakout year for him, and that's Mark Fletcher Jr. Fantastic, a kid out of American Heritage. We don't talk about their high school tape. Go watch what he did at American Heritage. He was behind Damian Martinez. They brought in Damian Martinez last year. They were kind of similar backs, where him and Jordan Law are 2 separate backs. They could complement each other. Now Mark Fletcher can actually shine. He just had over 600 yards last year, but he has the capability of being a straight down the field runner. He knows how to get his pad level low. He's not so just runs vertical and straight up, but he'll absorb contact. He's not afraid to draw that contact. He can go in there and get some good pass protection as well. I like his game all around. He's not the best pass catching back, but he can do it, So I think he's got that breakout year. So if we're looking at Devy, he's probably someone that could rise in your stock there. I think if you're in C2C, this is a running back you want, because I think this is a year where he'll get over, because Jordan Lyles there. I don't know if it'll be over 1,000, but he'll definitely get, I think, 800, maybe 900 yards this season. And he's going to be their red zone guy. So I think he could get many touchdowns for them this season as well.
Yeah, I mentioned Mark Fletcher as being my top running back in this in the ACC. I think, like you said, he's a lot like Damian Martinez. He's gonna be the bruiser. Gonna be gonna be short line, goal line, short yardage and goal line type of running back. But he also has he's got some carry to him. He's going to hit somebody and he's going to drag him 6 yards.
Yeah.
So I mean. So he has a lot of ability to be able to be that kind of prototypical power guy.
And I said this back when we were doing shows a few years ago when he was a freshman, because he was in my top freshman RBs at that time. There was a lot of similarity to Derrick Henry, just as far as he's run. I know I say that lightly because people jump on, oh, he's not the next. I'm not saying he's the next Derrick Henry. It's similar running styles, though. It's similar build. He has a lot to him that he can be that type of back. He needs to work a little bit more. He has been banged up with injury as well. So maybe get on that Derrick Henry diet plan that Derrick Henry has. I think he spends like $100K a year on his diet, which is fantastic. If you have that, go do it. But he's so right, I could do it, right? And it's like, so I'm really excited to see what he can do because I think he can, as you mentioned, a bruiser, but he's also someone that can get down the field. He might not win the foot race, but if you're not tackling pure, just wrapping him up, he's going to drag you, like you said, 5 or 6 yards as well. So
yeah, and kind of a disclaimer here: whenever we comp somebody to a player, we're not saying that they are them. We're saying that they had that similar type of play style, similar type of build, and we're not saying that they're going to be them particularly because obviously there's only one Derrick Henry. Right. So, but a guy like Mark Fletcher, he plays a lot like him. A lot of people said Braylon Allen was the next Derrick Henry coming out. He plays a lot like him. Runs similar size, runs same similar type of pad level. Again, there's only one Derrick Henry, but these guys kind of play like him. So we're going to comp them that way.
And hopefully they sketch the name out to be only Mark Fletcher, right? And then we started saying, hey, who's Derrick Henry? They actually play like Mark Fletcher, right? So that's the idea of Devy and the growing community is like this is they're always coming in and moving forward as well. Let's go ahead and move to our wide receivers, though. Wide receivers are pretty stacked here as well. Go ahead and tell us who your top wide receivers are.
Yeah, my top 3 wide receivers are T.J. Moore at Clemson, Bryant Wesco at Clemson, and then I've got JoJo Trader as my number 3 guy.
We just disclaimer here too. We didn't see each other's tops before this. This is us going to say what it is. We already said the Clemson guys, so ours are flip flop. I have Brian Wesco. I have T.J. Moore. I had JoJo Trader at wide receiver 4. I actually had Noah Rogers at the next at number 3. And I think it goes without saying who our top guys are as far as the Brian Wesco and T.J. Moore. Again, they just look studded with them. No disrespect to Antonio Williams. As you mentioned, Antonio Williams had a great freshman year. He got banged up with injury. Also, I think the offense was just kind of a little lost their identity that second year he was there. This past year, they really got it. It feels like they're really letting Klubnik step into who he is to be their quarterback and be, hey, you're the leader now. That's what we saw last season, and we saw with how he distributed the ball. We're going to see it a lot more officially this year. So Antonio Williams still is a good guy, but we're talking Devy, these freshmen coming in and doing what they did, Wesco and TJ Moore, with a guy like Antonio Williams on the field, phenomenal. So when it comes to Wesco and TJ Moore, I think it's pick your poison. Our breakouts are Rogers and Trader. So I'll start with Rogers. Again, transfer from Ohio State, bigger wide receiver, plays more physical, a lot more aggressive in his cuts, not as agile. He is what Olave was there, if you will. He's a technician with his routes. I like his hands. He's a very aggressive catcher as well. He's not really going to be your yak guy, I don't feel like, but he's someone that can still get those yards after the catch as well. And this year, I think it's the year that he actually steps up to be the top guy at NC State and, gets over 1,000 yards. I think he had over 600, just under 700 last season. So this is the year where he's going to get over 1,000, and he's going to be one of the top names you're talking about in the ACC, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably talking a little bit more consistent quarterback play too, with CJ Bailey being there, being right. The guy for the full year. Right. So I definitely see Noah Rogers having a breakout. You said being a yak guy, JoJo Trader is a yak guy. Yep. That guy is going to burn some people. He's going to make them look silly. Mm-hmm. And I've got him as the wide receiver 1 at Miami this year. I know that they brought in what was it, CJ Daniels from LSU. Yeah,
but he didn't do anything at LSU,
right? But I think JoJo Trader is going to have a dynamite year this year with Carson Beck. I think him and Beck are going to have put up huge numbers together.
Fantastic. No, JoJo Trader, Andy Fabigale was on him. My guy Nino Brown was on him as well. Fantastic. Speed is there. Last year, I feel he's what we think the Corey Moore is going to be this year as far as his ability to just twitch and make defenders miss in that open space. That's what JoJo Trader can do. He's going to go out there and make defenders miss. Just get him the rock. Carson Beck, if you're passing the ball, he can be that Ladd McConkey to what Carson Beck had, right? Just the guy that you get in the slants. He's not going to go deep. He can, but get him in the slants. Let him do his thing. Get him 5-6 yards out and just let him do the rest. Don't worry about trying to get him a bomb 10, 20 yards, anything like that. 5 or 6 yards, let him do the rest because he's going to end up scoring when the rock's in his hand. He's that good as far as his footwork and making defenders miss and everything. So I love that there. He's going to do some great things. As I did mention, that we're doing our top 3 for the quarterback, running back, wide receiver. We're going to give you all some breakout candidates for the tight end and some IDP candidates as well. We didn't do a top 3 just because when you talk Devy, when you're talking tight ends, IDP, I guess we could do IDP Devy, but that's a whole different beast. So when you talk tight ends, you're really not drafting tight ends in your Devy leagues. Rarely, I saw just off the top, been playing Devy for.
You don't have a whole lot of Brock Bowers out there. Sorry.
Exactly. Some people took Loveland, some people took Warren, even you could throw in Fannin maybe, but even then, you're kind of shooting. So I don't think they're gonna have those Brock Bowers type of years.
And even in most Devy leagues, most people didn't take Tyler Warren because he didn't blow up until this past season.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why it was like this past season that they took him. It was like, oh, is this a supplemental draft, late round kind of pick? So we didn't do rankings for him just because it's really shoot or miss. But we had some breakout guys and what they can do at that college landscape and potentially what they can do at that next level as well. Go ahead, go give us your tight end first.
My tight end is out of Stanford, Sam Roush. Good size, good route running ability, really good hands. And Stanford has that stereotype of putting out good tight ends. Them and Notre Dame to get both. So Sam Roush to me is kind of that next in line there at Stanford.
Fair. Absolutely love it. He's he keeps getting better each year. He consistently progresses as well. So this could definitely be that breakout finale for him, if you will. Strong runner. I think he needs to do better in his route running. He's not very fine-tuned in that, but he makes up with that with his size and with his strength when he catches the ball, when he gets it, and he can run through those defenders as well.
Yeah,
I think he's
kind of reminds me of the way Jason Witten played in college.
Yeah, there you go. Like he's not gonna get you yards at the catch, but he can power through it. He could be so that could block down the field as well for you, just because again his size. So I love that. I'm actually going with the guy that's gonna benefit from someone that transferred out. That's gonna be Cal's Jeffrey Johnson, and I'm saying him because Jack Injuries had 56 receptions, 623 yards last year at Cal. He then transferred to Texas, so he's probably going to play what Gunnar Helm did and just have a phenomenal year there as well. Texas stack for Arch Manning. So Jeffrey Johnson, I think, is going to step into that role, be one of the primary targets at Cal, and he's really going to benefit from that highly. He's going to be someone that potentially gets into that 600 yards type of game as Injuries did as well, and just be one of those primary targets for them. He's going to be someone that I don't feel they have a lot of people there. A lot of people actually transferred out of Cal, so it's really kind of a new regime when you think of the offense and what they're going to run. So Johnson's going to end up being that safety blanket for his quarterback and just being the go-to guy. So that's going to benefit him as far as receptions and yards. Maybe get a couple touchdowns here as well. He does have some good size to him.
Yeah, definitely.
But those are our tight ends there. This is, again, the ACC breakout candidates here. Our tight ends. And this is special because people didn't know we do IDP. So for our IDP community, we're going to give you 2 breakout candidates in the IDP realm for the ACC. I keep wanting to say SEC. That's to come later. The ACC, though, are breakout candidates. I'm going to go ahead and start with Clemson. We've already talked about Clemson a lot. But mine's going to be who was a freshman last year, Clemson linebacker Sammy Brown. Barrett Carter is no longer there, right? So you have that opportunity. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is no longer there, right? So you have that opportunity there. Sammy Brown is the next linebacker to be an impact player at Clemson. This guy has the ball tracking skills to get there in the snap. He has the sideline to sideline speed. He has the coverage skills. He has the ability to close in on the gaps and stop the runs. He is going to be a dynamic player and one of the leaders on the Clemson defense. He showed it a little bit last year as a freshman. Now that Carter's gone, it's his time, and he's going to go out there and take it. I love what I see in Sammy Brown, and he's in IDP leagues. I'm already targeting him.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how we're talking about some of these schools that continuously pump out the same type of position. Stanford with tight ends, Clemson now with linebackers. I got another one right here. Miami defensive end Reuben Bain Jr.
Yes,
he's kind of the next in line there as that. Kind of prototypical defensive end coming out of Miami. Right. He's going to be a household name by the end of the season.
Yep. No, I absolutely agree. I think
Potential top 5 draft pick next year, by the way, too.
yeah. Ruben Bain Jr. So if you follow me, I have another channel called the Devy Planet. I actually posted a short on Ruben Bain Jr. I called him Big Pressure. This kid, man, he try to block him off the edge. I dare the offensive tackles try to block him off. This kid has been phenomenal since he stepped on the field. How can you not be with a name like Bane? I mean, you think of Batman. The benefit is he doesn't need those juices flowing into him to get big and swole. He already is big and swole. He's just gonna power through your guys, right? Absolutely nightmare for offensive linemen. Absolutely nightmare of terror when it comes to the quarterbacks because he will get in their face. He will make the big plays happen. He is someone that's going to consistently be in a quarterback's face and making them make mistakes. You said top 5. Hot take. Ruben Bain will be the top draft pick next year. I think he could step into that. I really love what he's doing. And he's someone that could be a consistent guy. We talk about these defensive guys that are edge rushers that end up being there. Jadeveon Clowney type of. He's not as size-wise as Jadeveon, but I think he is that dominant. Abdul Carter went, what, 3rd overall?
He's more of a polished pass rusher than what Jadeveon Clowney was.
Yeah, I don't think people were talking about Jadeveon Clowney if he didn't have that big stop where he, out of South Carolina and he made that fumble.
He was an athletic freak, but he was never a big sack guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then that big play happened. I was like, oh, who's Jadeveon Clowney here now, right? So, Ruben Bain, someone to watch. I mean, the reason why Miami's defense is going to be phenomenal this year is because he's going to be getting pressure on the quarterbacks as well. So, absolutely love Ruben Bain. I love that pick, and he's been on my radar as well. I have him in C2C league. I drafted him as a freshman. I was excited about him. So, yeah, that's high school tape watching. I was like, oh, Ruben Bain's going to come out here and do work. Granted, he's doing work now. So, absolutely love it here. That's all we have for our breakout candidates for the ACC. As we mentioned, we gave you our top 3 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, gave you our breakout tight ends and breakout IDPs. That's the ACC for you. We're going to go conference by conference, give you our breakout candidates as well. So stay tuned with the Devy Degens on what we're doing there. But Tommy, I think behind the scenes, we've been working on something. What talk to him about the DTC there?
Yeah, go over to Dynasty Trade Calculator. Become a member over there. I think it's $4.99 a month. We've been working on all the Devy players over there, so they now have Devy included in their trade calculator.
There you go. And what we've been working on is we want to give y'all some samples on things that we're adjusting. Again, so when it comes to the Devy, we're trying to make it that if you're in these Devy leagues or C2C, you're able to trade college players for the pro players, or vice versa. Trade your pro players for the college players, and we're trying to get the ranks accurate for y'all to say, hey, this actually makes sense. I can do that. So we have a couple trades here that we're just throwing together to say, hey, this could make sense here. Our first one here was if you have Trevor Lawrence, maybe it's time to move on from him, and you could possibly get someone like Cade Klubnik and Mark Fletcher to get a Trevor Lawrence. What are your thoughts on that trade?
I like it. What you want to be careful of, though, whenever you're going in to make these trades, is that some people have really high value on some of these guys. It's
right.
Like, I got Cade Klubnik in the first round of as a first round Devy pick. I'm not trading for Trevor Lawrence. Well, that's kind of why you drafted him in a Devy, right?
Right.
Don't be afraid to trade your Devy guys.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to trade your Devy guys to get better on your NFL roster. That's what you're playing Devy for.
Right.
You're not keeping these guys for CFF production.
Right.
That's for C2C. This
right.
is, in strictly Devy leagues, don't be afraid to trade your Devy guys.
Yep. And who's to know? I mean, people are falling off with Trevor Lawrence, it seems like, especially with the new regime in there. Maybe Cade Klubnik's the next guy at Jacksonville, and now he has Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter.
What Liam Cohen has done for guys like Baker Mayfield and even Will Levis whenever he was in college.
Yep.
If Liam Cohen can't get Trevor Lawrence straightened out, nobody can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe Cade Klubnik's the next guy. So you just traded for the next guy there. And then on top of that, because we do have Trevor Lawrence ranked a little bit higher than Cade Klubnik. On top of that, you throw in Mark Fletcher and you say, hey, I'm going to go get the pro guy, take these guys with upside. Mark Fletcher was my breakout candidate. Cade Klubnik, I said he's a Heisman candidate this year. So you can possibly trade that. Again, college production, though, doesn't always lead to that pro production. That's why we're here, though, to break it down for y'all. But that's something to consider is maybe they do have the breakout year. Maybe they do have the Heisman type of year, but yet they're still even worse than what Trevor Lawrence is at the NFL level as well. You never know, right? Our next one here, JoJo Trader. So this is a guy that has some explosive talent to him, to his game. Could definitely be a rock star. Consensus wise, the community is lower on Kyle Williams and Xavier Restrepo. Xavier Restrepo went undrafted. Kyle Williams, possibly, I think, is a third round pick, right? To the New England Patriots. So potentially, but JoJo Trader, I think, has a little bit more value. So, what are your thoughts on that trade? On trading Trader for someone like Kyle Williams and Xavier Restrepo?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Kyle Williams and Xavier Restrepo, but just looking at their draft capital, I mean, there was no draft capital for Restrepo, and a lot of that was just because he had he was fighting off a hamstring injury during the draft process.
Right.
But you're really going to have to see where he falls on that depth chart, or even if he even makes the roster, honestly, just because they didn't put anything into him, so they don't really have anything invested. So I'm going to go with JoJo Trader here, just because there is that intrigue there, and you don't really know what you're going to get as far as depth chart with Kyle Williams and Xavier Restrepo.
Was Williams a third round pick? I think he was. He was third.
I think he was. Yeah,
third, right?
Yeah.
And
but there you also have you got Jalen Polk. You got a couple
Javon
other guys
Baker.
There. Yeah, Javon
Stephon
Baker.
Diggs.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned depth chart. Restrepo may not be on the end right now. If you're drafting Restrepo, any hype you're getting, it's possible trade time. Like, I know people like to hold on to the player saying, "Oh, he could be the next guy." If there's some hype in these rookies, you get a veteran that's done it. Go ahead and trade them out to get it, or say, "Hey, I actually like Trader a lot more on what his potential could be, so I'm gonna go out there and do what he can do as well." And trade these guys that we don't necessarily know. And we saw a second round draft pick last year get nothing in New England. So why do we think a third round draft pick in Kyle Williams could do, especially when they brought in Stephon Diggs? Yes, Diggs is coming off an ACL injury, but he was looking great, a wide receiver one before his injury, so he could get back to that as well. Another one here, Isaac Brown in the 2026 second for Travis Etienne. What side do you have?
I'm gonna go with the Travis Etienne side here. I still think he has legs to him, and Isaac Brown is kind of the same thing I was saying earlier that kind of scares me off him is the size. I think he's got to get bigger. Now, if you were say a 2026 first, maybe I would do it. But as of right now, I'm going to stick with Etienne.
For sure. And think about this as Devy, though. So those draft picks might not be the same because the rookie drafts may be a little bit depleted as well. So you have to keep those in mind around what to go.
Oh, are we talking a rookie, or are we talking a Devy pick there?
That was a rookie.
Yeah, rookie pick. I'm not going that way.
Yeah. Amir, thanks for joining in, my guy. He said, I know a guy who traded Trader for Milroe. Traded Trader for, so he got Jalen Milroe. I'm sure that's what you're talking about, Jalen Milroe. Fantastic. Well,
I would have stuck with JoJo Trader there.
Yeah, I started thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Superflex leads, your quarterbacks are a little influx a little bit there, more inflated. So possibly, but yeah, I would have stuck with Trader there.
Milroe
can hit.
Milroe may never develop past more than a backup quarterback in the NFL, though. So
yeah, that's true. But Trader could end up being Restrepo and go undrafted as well. So
that's true. I don't think that's going to happen. But
no, let's see, injured hamstring. Their draft process, because that's we thought Restrepo was gonna be that top guy, but no, I think, man, this is a time to buy low on Etienne. Travis Etienne is getting thrown through the mud. They drafted based on two in. They brought in. There's another running back they drafted I can't think of off the top, and Take Bigsby came out, did some great things. Travis Etienne still looks good. He was banged up last year as well. I think he just needs to change the scenery. But even then, yeah, they drafted two in. Though, and Etienne can still be the Bucky Irvin of what people want from Liam Cohen's offense. So in this situation, I love Isaac Brown, but again, this is where we're trading some of the hype, right? Isaac Brown does have some value to him because of that hype and what he did as a true freshman. Go ahead and trade him out. Get Travis Etienne. You have some guys that may be rebuilding and say, "Hey, I want to start building for my future." This is a great trade for them to get Isaac Brown, and you gonna get Etienne as he's sliding down the ranks there as well.
Yeah.
Our last one here is K. Klubnik, and this is a full Devy one. K. Klubnik for Eli Holston, Brian Wesco, and Deuce Robinson. Which side do you take?
Honestly, I think I'm going to stick with the Klubnik side here. I think that with Holston, you're kind of projecting a little bit there. For sure. And Deuce Robinson hasn't done anything to convince me that he's going to be anything. Right. And then I do like Bryant Wesco, but I don't necessarily. I don't think I have him in my top 5 in that draft class for wide receivers.
Wesco.
Yeah.
It was him. We would have stuck with Trader, man, but that happens. I mean, Milroe, again, shoot for the moon, right? He has an arm. If he gets fine-tuning right, he could be something special in Seattle. So not a bad trade. We definitely get it.
But back on that point, I don't. I think I have Wesco right outside my top 5 wide receivers in that draft class. But Klubnik is looking like he's going to be a top 5 overall pick, top 5 to top 10 guy. So I mean, I'm sticking with Klubnik.
Yeah, Wesco is 6 because I have Jeremiah, Coleman, Williams, Mars, Wingo, Wesco there. Right. So and then you have TJ Moore. So let's play devil's advocate. You said you're shooting. Again, I like Eli Holston, what he could do. So I think you're getting a solid quarterback. Will he be a first round prospect? Probably not. Kate Klubnik, sure, he can be, and especially if he has a season that we talked about earlier. Brian Wesco, I think he is a possible first-round wide receiver. Like, I think that 2027 class, we're going to see a stacked ton of wide receivers potentially go in there.
See a bunch of guys there, but but again, you're kind of hoping for that. Right. Whereas as of right now, Klubnik is probably is a projected top 10 pick for this upcoming draft.
True. And Deuce Robinson, you mentioned he hasn't done anything correct. And 5-star prospect lost his job to a 4-star prospect.
Playing out of
transferred
position.
out. Because he should be a tight end.
Should be a tight end.
True. Big guy is 6'5", 6'6". And he looks good though. When he does get the opportunity, he looks great. He just hasn't had as much opportunity as we would like to have it. So
it doesn't matter. He needs to steer into the skid and play the position that he should be playing. A lot of people said that about Jack Besh though too, but Jack Besh never got any. He never got bigger. Deuce Robinson has gotten bigger and still won't move inside.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do that with him in a new role, right? New opportunity there in Florida State, especially when you have running backs, as we mentioned. He is at Florida State, by the way, for people that don't know. He's from USC at Florida State. But because they have Roy Dale, because they have Cam, because they have Usman, now there you have Deuce Robinson. Maybe they move him in to say, hey, we need an extra blocker in here, or an extra guy to lead them down the way. Now Deuce Robinson can kind of fill that role, but also be someone that goes open or be a vertical threat at the tight end position as well. So I get that, and this is really – I guess your team build. And you mentioned it earlier, every league is different on how they value guys. And I'm in a league right now where someone's trying to trade me on Jackson Dart. And I'll just he's trying to trade. He wants me to trade my 26th first for Jackson Dart. And I'm like, bro, our league just doesn't value him like that. Like, he slid in our draft specifically because our league doesn't value him as a quarterback. Regardless if he starts day one, well, they still just don't value him as the name that he is, where I can go and get, I could probably get Geno Smith for less, and that's still possibly just as good for this season, right? So
yeah, well, and I mean, you're not getting Jackson Dart for this season at all. You may not be getting him for the next 2 seasons, right? Just really depends on what like guys like Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston do in front of them. Yeah. Do they come back for another year, or do they turn it over to Jackson Dart next year? But you're not getting anything out of him this year.
Yeah, who's to say Russell Wilson doesn't ball out and makes the Giants a playoff team? And now you think that was going to say, all right, we're releasing him?
I say that
he is going to be a playoff team?
No, he's
not. I'm just saying, who's to say he doesn't do something, though? And then Dabo's on a hot seat as it is. And so if Russell or James Stone ball and then he doesn't move into Dart this season, then he's on a hot seat, and so is the GM, where if they do ball out, there's no way they're going to be like, oh, all right, we're leaving. We're going with Jackson Dart next year then, right? So you don't know what that could be. As you mentioned, it could be 2 years out before you're getting on it. I'd rather keep my 26 first and get Kate Klubnik than go after Jackson Dart.
Not only that, but if they do run Daboll out of town, then I mean you could potentially be looking at a new coach who doesn't want Jackson Dart.
Exactly. That's my thought. I've said it before. I don't think this class has a franchise QB. I don't think these quarterbacks are on the same team in 5 years, even the first rounds with Cam Ward. Potentially, I don't necessarily see it. I just think they end up going somewhere else. I just don't think there's franchise in them. That's my take. That's everyone's entitled to their opinion.
The Titans aren't a very well ran franchise, anyways.
But that's gonna be they're gonna because his offense around him isn't great, it's on the quarterback though, right? So if he's not doing it, it's like, you never gave me the weapons. Hey, bro, it doesn't matter. You just didn't ball out, and I think that's what can happen there. So but that's what it is, man. We have the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Go check it out, Dynasty Trade Calculator. Get your subscription. Go ahead and check these trades out. These were all trades that were of equal value. So that's why we brought them up, because they were of equal value and kind of doing them and piecing them together. You have to do some maneuvering, right? You have to, put the pieces to the puzzle together to make these trades right. But go ahead and do it. That's what we're going to start doing, is just give you all some trade examples. So hopefully if you are in your Devy leagues, go ahead and shoot your shot. Go ahead and, do these opportunities, possibly get these trades going, and maybe get your guys left or right, whoever, how you're feeling there as well. That's all we have for it. As we mentioned, we're doing our breakout campaigns. Tommy, you're on vacation next week, though. I hope you have a fantastic vacation, man. Again, well-deserved. We have a special guest with the Devy Degens next week, and we are doing a 3-round overall Devy mock draft. So stay tuned for that. For everyone with the Profiler Plus, everyone at Dynasty Degens, we are your Devy Scouts at Devy Degens. Until next time, peace.